Bitcoin isn't backed by gold, banks, or even a government. So why does it matter? I mean, seriously, how in the world does a bunch of code, literal computer code, hold the kind of weight that people compare it to real world assets, the dollar in your wallet, or a brick of shiny gold? Even a classic 3 bedroom, 2 bath home right here in Sacramento. Now, let's be real. Today, one Bitcoin doesn't quite buy you a median priced home in Sacramento. Not yet. But here's where it gets interesting. In 2010, you needed 10,000 Bitcoin to buy a pizza. Today, at current prices, you only need a small fraction of one Bitcoin to make a serious dent in a home purchase. And if the trend continues, in a few years, a single Bitcoin could buy you that 3 bedroom, 2 bath in East Sac or Elk Grove. That's how dramatically its value has shifted over time and why so many people are paying attention. Sounds wild, right? But here's the thing. Bitcoin does have value, a lot of it, just not in the way that we're used to thinking about money. It flips the whole script. It's not backed by a physical thing. It's backed by math, transparency, and trust in a system that doesn't need middlemen. So stick with me because today we're going to unpack what really makes Bitcoin tick. We'll look at why its design, this mysterious blend of scarcity, decentralization, and proof of work, isn't just interesting tech. It might just be the biggest financial wake up call of our lifetime. This isn't about hype or headlines. It's about understanding what's underneath it all and how it could change the way that we think about money, ownership, and freedom. Hey, I'm Josh with Lasquette Real Estate Services, Sacramento realtor, proud dad of three, woodshop enthusiast, wannabe rock star when the guitar comes out, and your go-to for real estate needs, renovation, and real-world financial sense. I've always been drawn to building, not just with my hands, though I do love shaping wood into something meaningful, but with people, with homes, and with ideas. Whether I'm helping someone buy their first home, reimagine a tired space, or just wrap their heads around how to make smarter moves in the ever changing world, I'm all in. And today, we're building something a little different. We're building understanding about Bitcoin, about money, about why what we don't know can actually hold us back, and how learning just a little bit can put power back in your hands. Before we dive into the nuts and bolts of Bitcoin's inner workings, let's start at the source, the white paper. Now, if you've never heard of a white paper, think of it like the original blueprint for an invention. It's the architect's drawing, the mission statement, and the rule book all rolled into one. A white paper says, here's the problem we see, here's how we fix it, and here's exactly how it's going to work. Now, on October 31st, 2008, a mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto published the Bitcoin white paper. Just 9 pages, no hype, no brand, just a vision for a new kind of money. Electronic cash that didn't require banks, governments, or even trust. The paper's title, Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And the core ideas were revolutionary. Get rid of third-party middlemen, let people send money directly to each other, use cryptography and computers, not institutions, to create trust, make every transaction visible, permanent, and verifiable by the entire network. The system described in that paper became Bitcoin, and more than 15 years later, those original ideas are still at the heart of everything it does. All right, now that we know the vision, let's break down the machine that makes it all work. Okay, so first things first, Bitcoin runs on something called the blockchain. Now, I know that word gets tossed around like a buzzword at a Silicon Valley coffee shop, but let's strip it down to the basics. Imagine a giant public notebook, one that anyone can read and anyone can help write in. Every time a Bitcoin transaction happens, it gets written down in this notebook. But here's the catch. Once something is written, It can never be erased or edited. It's locked in forever. And this notebook, it's not stored in one place. It's copied and distributed across millions of computers worldwide. That means no one person, company, or government can fudge the records or cook the books. No back doors, no secret edits. Everyone sees the same thing. It's decentralized, it's transparent, and it's permanent. That's the blockchain. It's not just a storage system, it's Bitcoin's backbone. It's what keeps the system honest, secure, and trustless, meaning you don't have to trust anyone because the system itself makes cheating impossible. Think about the title to your home. Now, imagine every home title in the country was stored in a public, tamper proof ledger, one that anyone could verify and no one could alter. That is the level of clarity and protection we're talking about with the blockchain. And once you wrap your head around that, Bitcoin starts to make a whole lot more sense. All right, now here's where things get spicy. Let's talk about scarcity and why it's such a big deal in Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That's it. It's hard coded. You can't change it. You can't vote to raise the supply. There's no printing press, no emergency override. That number is locked in forever. And that fixed supply, it makes Bitcoin fundamentally different from every form of money that we're used to. Let's talk about the dollar. The US government, through the Federal Reserve, prints more of it all the time, trillions sometimes. And when more dollars flood the system, the dollars in your pocket lose value. That's inflation. And we've all felt it at the gas pump, the grocery store, and in our monthly budgets. Bitcoin, it doesn't play that game. Its supply is algorithmically limited, and that scarcity, that inability to dilute it, is exactly what gives it strength. Think of it like digital gold, but even scarcer. Gold has been a store of value for centuries because it's rare and can't be created out of thin air. But we can still mine more gold. Bitcoin, we already know the total cap, and we're getting close. Imagine if the city of Sacramento passed a law that said no more homes will ever be built again. What do you think would happen to the value of existing homes? Yep, they'd skyrocket because supply is frozen while demand keeps rising. Bitcoin follows that same principle. It's digital real estate in a world where supply is completely capped. And that makes every coin a piece of limited digital land. Scarcity creates value. That's the heart of it. And Bitcoin is the first digital asset that nails this principle perfectly. So now that we understand the how much, next let's talk about the who. Because the fact that no one owns or controls Bitcoin might be the most important part of it all. One of the most mind-blowing things about Bitcoin is this: no one controls it. There's no CEO, no central bank, no government agency pulling the strings, no boardroom of billionaires, no private corporation with a kill switch. It's code, it's math, and it runs on global consensus, which is just a fancy way of saying people all over the world voluntarily help run this system by playing the same rules. Rules, by the way, that are totally transparent and open for anyone to read. You don't need to be on the inside to understand how it works. There's no curtain to peek behind. It's all right there. And here's the kicker: the lack of central control, that's not some design flaw. It's the whole point. Bitcoin was born out of the 2008 financial crisis, the exact moment when banks were bailed out, trust in institutions crumbled, and everyday folks got left holding the bag. So, this idea of a money system with no middlemen, no manipulation, no insider deals was radical because it means no one can freeze your account. No one can inflate your money away. No one can change the rules on you mid-game. It's money with no master. Now, back in 2013, Cyprus faced a financial crisis. Banks literally froze people's savings, like overnight. People couldn't access their money. That kind of thing, that's not supposed to happen, but it did. And during that chaos, some turned to Bitcoin because it couldn't be frozen. It couldn't be seized. It was borderless, secure, and entirely in their control. And guess what? The price of Bitcoin surged because people realized this isn't just internet money, this is freedom money. In a world where trust in systems keeps getting tested, Bitcoin offers a system where the trust isn't in people, it's in the math, the protocol, and the open network. And that's a powerful thing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool story, Josh, but how does this affect me? And honestly, that's the best question you can ask because this isn't just theory, it's personal. If you're someone working hard, trying to save and get ahead, Bitcoin is a way to protect the value of your money from slowly eroding over time. If you've ever felt like the game is rigged, like the rules change depending on who's in charge, Bitcoin doesn't play that game. It plays fair, always has, always will. If you're a parent, a business owner, a homeowner trying to build something meaningful for the next generation, Bitcoin represents the kind of control and transparency that we've never had before in our money. And here's the kicker. Even if you never buy a single Bitcoin, just understanding it gives you a front row seat to the financial future that's already unfolding around us. Because the next decade, it's going to look different. We're seeing shifts in money, in power, in how value moves across the globe. And if you want to thrive, not just survive, you've got to start tuning in now. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about staying educated, empowered, and prepared. And in my world, whether it's real estate or renovation or financial tools, being prepared is half the battle. Look, I get it. This stuff can feel overwhelming. I've been there. I didn't grow up learning about crypto, blockchain, or economic theory. I was just trying to build a life for my family, fix up houses, and figure out how to make smart moves without getting buried by systems I didn't understand. But here's the thing I've learned. You don't have to be early. You don't have to be a tech genius. You don't even have to invest $1. You just have to be awake. You have to be curious enough to ask questions, brave enough to challenge the status quo, and open enough to imagine that maybe, just maybe, there's a better way forward. Every homeowner I work with, every first-time buyer, every person trying to make sense of this world, they all want the same things: stability, security, and a shot at building something real. Bitcoin isn't perfect, it's not a magic bullet, but it's part of a bigger shift toward ownership, transparency, and systems that can't be manipulated on a whim. And you're already ahead of the curve just by being here, watching, learning, growing. That's how real change begins. Not with a crash course in tech, but with a willingness to wake up to what's happening around us. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Seriously, it means a lot that you made it this far. And if this sparked a thought or raised a question, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear where you're at, whether you're all in on Bitcoin, skeptical, or somewhere in between. And if you're looking to make smart money moves, whether that's buying your first home, finding clarity in this market, or just exploring what financial freedom could actually look like, reach out. Let's talk. Smash that like button, hit subscribe for more real talk, and share this with someone who still thinks that Bitcoin is just for tech bros and Reddit threads. And remember, the single smile is infectious. It can spread joy and cover a mile. I'll see you next time.